go first, huh? Given history.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll wait for your signal.
Okay, anytime.
I'm Gary Douglas with the Plattsburgh North Country Chamber of Commerce, and welcome to the latest segment of North Country Commerce, a business and community service of the Chamber. Each week we try to bring different topics of interest to the business community here in the North Country, things that are happening, services that businesses might want to take advantage of, also things that are happening out there in the community, knowing that a better community makes for better business. And that's always been a very strong commitment of this chamber through its many years. An example of that really is a program that we're going to talk about on this segment, the Junior Achievement Program. We have a group within the chamber called the North Country Industrial Council, and over the last couple of years that council has brought together the industrial leaders of the community, the CEOs, the presidents, the general managers of all of the industrial employers. We get them together a couple of times a year to find out what their priorities are, what they're experiencing, what things need to be worked on and addressed to make sure that we keep a competitive environment here that's able to provide quality jobs to people in the North Country in years to come, and that will help us attract new companies, whether it's for Plattsburgh Air Force Base or the Air Industrial Park or the new park in the northern tier, to make sure that we have the prepared, ready workforce here in the years to come that will be able to meet the demands of businesses that we want to bring here to help us out. There are some concerns about that, and we heard very strongly a couple of years ago from the industrial leaders that they are increasingly concerned about the quality of the available workforce in terms of being appropriately trained for the changing workplace, of being flexible enough to respond to the changing workplace, where people aren't probably going to do the same thing for 40 years at one company and then be out. They're probably going to change jobs and have to kind of change with the changing environment. We heard this on different levels, from the college level right down to the elementary school level. And coming out of that were a number of ideas. One of them really was advanced by Steve Saucier from Georgia Pacific, who participated in those meetings, and who then took it the next step through the Leadership Clinton program at Clinton Community College as a class project within that program to look at junior achievement as one of the possible responses to preparing the workforce here in the area. They decided that it was feasible. They came to the chamber at that point, and the chamber was very enthused about it, lent its full support to help put together the first steering committee, provide some seed money, and get it going. It's now very much a functioning part of the North Country education scene, doing some good things, advancing and growing, and that's the story that we want to tell today. That there's a new program here in the North Country that's working, and that we hope is going to grow, but it's going to need assistance from folks out there to help it grow and to help it achieve the things that it wants to achieve in the next few years. Joining me today are two members of the steering committee, John Champagne from Peru Central School. John, welcome. Peru was one of the first schools to take part in the program, and I think very successfully, but we'll touch on that in a few minutes. Sue Matten is our Director of Small Business Services here at the Chamber, also a member of the Steering Committee for Junior Achievement. And Sue, welcome. And we also have with us Mike Brazel from Evergreen Bank. Mike was the honorary chair, is the honorary chair of a fundraising effort helping to try to pull together the resources that it's going to take to keep this program moving forward. And welcome, Mike.
Thank you.
Sue, tell us a little bit about Junior Achievement. It's not something that we create out of whole cloth here. In fact, one of the beauties of it was that we were able to go out there and not have to reinvent the wheel, that there was something out there that's been done, been proven, that we could bring here.
Junior Achievement actually has been around since 1919. It was started by a man named Horace Moses, who was with the Strathmore Paper Company, and he thought that it was important that students learn about the work world, and so he started this program then. It's been in effect ever since then in varying forms. The original program, you might remember, was after school, and the students started a company, and they made a product, and they sold the product, and then they made a profit, and they learned how profit and how commerce worked. From that, it's been expanded. That program is still in effect and is used in Westport, New York. And we also have school programs in the classrooms now that uses consultants. Consultants come from the business world, and they lend their experience to the students through the Junior Achievement Program. They donate their time and help the students to learn, and they have a wonderful time. We've had a lot of really good experiences with the consultants, and I think John can touch on that a little bit. He would talk about what kind of programs we had and how the consultants and the schools and the students really enjoyed the experience.
It's overseen by a steering committee.
Yes, it is.
And,
We have the Junior Achievement Steering Committee is at North Country, and then we're under the auspices of the Capital District of Albany, their program out of Albany. We're very fortunate to be able to have Albany to help us in forming this program when we started it, and to support us as we go along.
So basically, we have different formats, different grade levels. It isn't just one specific grade level. And it's really structuring ways to bring people from business and from the private sector into the classroom,
Yes.
to directly work with students to sensitize them and make them more aware of what the real world is out there.
Yes.
That in just a few years they're going to find themselves out in.
The idea is to have children from kindergarten age start to learn about commerce and about work and about careers, so that when they do go out into they've graduated from high school or they've graduated from college, they have an idea of what to expect and how to succeed in the work world.
Now we just completed really the first year of the program.
Mm-hmm.
And we had how many schools?
We had three.
Three. And Peru was one, and the others were.
St. John's, and we had a class in Stafford Middle School here in the city of Plattsburgh.
And that was really done really almost as a demonstration. They tried three different types of schools, three different grade levels.
Yep.
Kind of work out the bugs and make sure it's going to work here before growing too fast, but it's worked, and now we're looking to grow.
We tried different things in each school to see which ones were the most successful. Middle school classes, high school classes, over a 10-week period, everything done in 2 weeks, 3 consultants, 1 consultant, we tried all different kinds of things, studied it, and now we've expanded the program. The following year.
And one of our success stories in the first year, and we're sure going to continue to be a success story as this program moves on and expands in the future, is Peru Central. John, tell folks a little bit about the experience, how the program worked at your school, and what value you think it brought to your students.
The Peru program was entitled Project Business. Project Business is the program designed basically for the middle school level students as well as the high school students. The group that worked in Peru was a marketing class consisting of 20 students, and we worked in conjunction with the New York State Electric and Gas Corporation. 3 consultants, Bob Perkins, Tom Magliani, and Mark Luletta, joined my class early last October. I say joined the class, they came in to visit the class to get a feel of the students. I think the first impression they had was, wow, it's been a long time since I've been here. A new experience and a little apprehension on their part. However, over the course of the year, things settled in and quite a bit was accomplished. The 3 consultants that worked in Peru, they basically took the handbook, which is given to us through the Capital District JA program and offices, and they decided that they would concentrate on 3 areas: the interviewing process, supply and demand, and market segmentation. We also decided through our meetings that we would try to set it up in 3 different time periods. The first being 1 session during the first semester, and the latter 2 were in the spring semester. During that time, I think there were a number of benefits received by all that happened. I think probably the most important from the student's viewpoint was that as a teacher, I tried to stress to the students the importance of feeling comfortable with this school-to-work transition. And I think we lost a little of that over the past few years because we lost the ability to do work-study programs. There are different programs that I'm sure everyone in this room is familiar with. School-to-work is a new idea, workforce partnership, that type of thing. JA gives the student an opportunity to meet business people in a different setting. First of all, outside of the traditional setting of the business world, and then outside the traditional setting of the classroom. Some of the comments that I'd like to share with the group, happen to come back that from the consultant viewpoint, I didn't understand, the difficulty in having the student be aware that this is what goes on in the everyday practice of business. I think from our side, from the education side, I think it was a case where the students enjoyed hearing something other than from the teacher who probably went home and did his homework or her homework the night before, came back and now is giving us the information out of the textbook. It was a true hands-on experience with the student as they go through there. It gave them an opportunity to see different careers, to take a look at and to ask questions of the professionals, the people that are actually out there working with that, which I think is important rather than hearing the teacher give their interpretation of what that position is like along the line. There was a greater development of knowledge of the business world in general, how it operates, a better understanding of the role of business in the U.S. economy, that type of thing, along that. I think, too, it gave the business consultant an opportunity to investigate firsthand the basic skills that these students have, possibly also the skills that they are lacking. Okay. For myself personally, it gave me an opportunity to be able to sit down with the consultant after and to discuss, how can I better myself as a teacher? How can I better prepare myself to go back into that classroom and prepare the student for the business world?
That's good. You're going to be doing this program again.
I can't wait. Anxiously, matter of fact, I have been in contact with the 3 consultants. We will be meeting here in the next 2 weeks, hopefully to put together the program for this year. We plan on making a change this year. Together we felt that the lapse time was something that maybe took away a little bit from the program. So this year we're going to try to set up the program so that it will run 2 consecutive weeks. Okay, 10 consecutive classes, in other words.
Well, one of the things that I hear is great about the Junior Achievement Program is that there's a set structure to it that certainly has been proven that can be brought in off the shelf. But on the other hand, it's not overly keen. There's a lot of flexibility for each school to tailor it time-wise and in many different ways so that it works for you and your class. It's not overly programmed.
I agree wholeheartedly. I think the flexibility of the program itself allows both business and the education side to, I think, better prepare for that. To give you an example of that, one of the things we are working on right now is the fact, how can I better prepare my students for those particular areas that the consultants will be concentrating on when they come into the classroom this year. Last year, we went out and it was a question, is this going to work? Can we put this together? And I think once we got involved, just the enjoyment of the program itself, because of the flexibility, because of the interaction between the students and the business people was just, from the teacher's viewpoint, it was just exciting for me to watch the kids get involved. One comment one of the consultants made was the fact that they felt the program was a great instrument in teaching something we're hearing, that at least I read and hear about, is this idea of teamwork in the business world. And I, as a teacher, sometimes feel that students, they're very little apprehensive to get together and rub elbows, but I think this program encourages that type of activity from the students.
Terrific. Now we're looking at some continued expansion of the program. What's the plan for the coming year in terms of growing?
We're going to be adding 3 programs this year. in 3 new schools, so we will be represented in 6 schools. Our eventual goal is to be represented in all the school districts in the North Country. And every year, we hope to expand and add new programs. We'd like to continue to be in the schools that we're in since they've been so successful, and build on that. And to do that, we have individual contributors and we have sponsors, and each unit in each school is sponsored by a business. This year, the Chamber is sponsoring two units. The Northern Tier Chamber of Commerce will be co-sponsoring 2 units with 2 of the local businesses from that area, Champlain Telephone and Shazy Westport Telephone. New York State Gas and Electric will be sponsoring the Peru School again, and Georgia Pacific will again be sponsoring a unit this year. And without the support of those businesses, we wouldn't be able to offer these kinds of programs, and we're very appreciative of the fact that they have given their consultants and their funds in order to help this program to expand.
There's different ways and levels that folks and schools and businesses and just citizens and parents potentially could get involved in making this program continue to grow and succeed. And one of them, of course, is just to help with some very basic funding, just to meet the general expenses to keep this program going. And that requirement isn't huge, but it has to come from the small support of folks out there in business and in the community that think, gee, junior achievement is a good program. I want to make sure it survives and thrives and it grows. And so the steering committee has been engaging in some general fundraising with the community, is going to be continuing to do that. And I know we're very pleased that Mike came on board as the honorary chair of that effort. And Mike, could you tell folks about some of the fundraising to date, and perhaps how folks out there that might want to make a contribution, how they could do that?
Sure. Thanks, Gary. I am the honorary chairperson of the fundraising. We solicited well over 1,000 individuals and businesses. We've had an excellent response. $5,500 so far has been raised. Lisa Getty at Miramar did a special fundraiser and gained an additional $400. People can send a contribution of whatever amount. We have a range of contributions, $25, $50, $75, or $100, or whatever amount, by sending it to Junior Achievement Box, P.O. Box 743, Peru, New York 12972. And really, funding is the only limitation on this. Hearing John talk about the success and enthusiasm in his program, to expand it to as many schools as possible is really the objective. And to prepare the students for the workplace and help the educators is really a noble thing. So we look forward and invite all the contributions of whatever amount.
Why you touched on a few things, but if you were going to stress one thing in particular, why do you and Evergreen think this is something important to be doing?
Well, the form that went out and that we have, you can send anyone for a tax deductible, by the way, contribution, refers to it as an investment. And if there's one thing that's become very apparent here in the North Country and actually throughout the country, is the need to help the educators prepare the students for the workplace. There are much promise for jobs in the North Country if the students go down the right paths, generate enthusiasm, take the right courses. John mentioned teamwork, learning new skills, so the technical courses are important. Teamwork, such as junior achievement, is also critical when a person looks to hire someone. They look for those attributes as well. So it's an investment. It's part of a much larger combined effort to prepare the students for the workplace. The Local Development Corporation is focused on that with its education committee, and will be announcing something shortly. So it's great to have and the Chamber is certainly at the forefront of this as usual.
Sue, hopefully there are some others out there who might be interested in being part of the program, not only making a contribution, but Perhaps there's some schools out there that haven't yet found out about this, that may want to know more about the possibility of bringing this into their school in the future, or some business out there that might want to learn about what's involved in being a consultant and actually sponsoring. How can they find out more?
Well, they can call me. I'll be happy to answer questions about the program, to let them know how they might become involved. If any schools have questions, I can answer questions about what junior achievement is, what it might mean to them, how they might be involved in the future in the expansion of our program. Business people who would like to volunteer to be consultants for the program can find out about how they could do that. There are people in our community who would be wonderful to be consultants and to lend their business experience to the students, and we'd like to hear from them.
And it's important. Why? Why do you think it's an important program?
Why is Junior Achievement an important program? Because it helps to prepare those students to be ready when they get when it comes time for them to leave the schools and to be part of the workplace. They will have a better idea of what it is that is expected of them in the future, in that future workplace world.
John, would you, I know the answer to the question already, but would you encourage schools and businesses out there that aren't already in the program to be taking a look at it?
Oh, definitely, Gary. One thing comes to mind for myself, again, is the idea that I think many times, and I think any of the other instructors that will view this will agree, I find many times students can't wait to get out of the North Country. That's what I hear, that there's nothing here and so forth. And I think this has opened a new door for the business world in the North Country, because it now gives the students an opportunity to see firsthand, okay, to get inside business, and also for business to get inside school. And I think that there's been a gap there over the past few years. Now, each has an opportunity to go out and to focus on the needs of the North Country, to let students know firsthand, if you wish to work for Evergreen, if you wish to work at the Chamber, whatever it may be, here are some things that you will need to do. Here's how you can best prepare yourself for that job opportunity that may be waiting for you upon graduation.
I think that's actually an excellent point. I think there's an incredible lack of awareness in general here in the North Country about the employers that are here, about the employment community that we have there, and the variety of companies out there, and the kinds of jobs that are out there. People are aware of some of the biggest employers. They know about the hospital, they know about the correctional facilities, they know about Georgia Pacific, but there are dozens of other companies, and more coming online every year that are a very quiet presence in this community, but that certainly should have an interest in the workforce, and we'd encourage them to think about this as a way to help themselves by preparing the future workforce here to serve their needs, but also to help themselves by creating more awareness that they're here, and the kinds of jobs that students could be preparing themselves for here in the North Country that they may not even know exist here.
That I concur. The other, I think, for the students, it also shows the students that that's just not the big corporation out there, that they are truly interested in the youth. They are truly interested in how the student can best prepare. And we will come into your home now to demonstrate this. And I have to say, that we went on our field trip last spring, and I think that too is a very important part of this. It also takes the student out of that traditional classroom, that the rows, the chairs. Now they have an opportunity to get out and to share this in the actual workplace as well. And I think that's a very advantageous event for the student. This is what it's really like inside the walls. Okay, here's how business truly operates. Okay.
Business will benefit by having more qualified students come out of the school system and have the skills that they need in order to hire them when they graduate from school. And there are a lot of opportunities in the North Country for the students to stay here, more and more all the time available to help keep these kids here.
So I think it's become the movie Field of Dreams, build the field and they will
Yes.
come, build the students' awareness and motivate them early on, as John is doing and as Junior Achievement is doing, and the employers will come with good paying jobs. And young people can stay in the North Country and have a good income and stimulating jobs.
Mhm.
And there's the marvelous potential here in the North Country, and certainly the attitude of the educators, and I've talked to a lot of them recently, is marvelous too. And all these programs will come together
Yes.
and build the North Country ever more. And it sure is true that I'm recalling my student days. What is it like in the workplace? It was very abstract. It was some ways idealistic, some ways intimidating. You were a little afraid of it, and this hands-on experience and exposure to business people and the business world and the workplace is outstanding.
At the risk of doing injustice to a few other things that are going on, I do want to take a minute too to point out there are some other involvements that the Chamber and the business community have in this whole general area of partnering with schools and trying to build a future workforce. The Chamber put together last year a booklet that went out to every school teacher in the North Country that identified more than 80 employers of all kinds here in the North Country who offered a varying menu of things that they were saying, we're willing to do these things with the teachers, with the students, with the schools if you're interested. Internships, plant tours, doing presentations in the classroom.
Participation in training for the teachers. Their quality assurance training. Or
Sure. We had one employer, just an example, Schoenbeck's here in Plattsburgh, is doing some outstanding training programs for in-house at their plant. But they said, you know, we always have capacity. We could accommodate more people. If some teachers would like to sit in on the kind of training that people are getting at the workplace, we'll make those seats available. A lot of things like that. And that booklet's available if there's some folks out there that haven't seen that, or new teachers perhaps, or they've lost it. Call us, 563-1000. We're happy to make that available to find some opportunities. We're involved in the advisory committee at BOCES, working to help BOCES with some exciting things that they're doing that we might want to talk about on a future segment to work with the private sector workplace, not just high school level anymore, but new adult programs that they're doing too in the workplace. Sue has been very involved with the Chamber in the School to Work program and Goals 2000. A couple of words on that, on what that's about?
On School to Work is the same kind of idea to help students be workforce ready, and there is a group through the Private Industry Council that works toward helping the students to do that, and that's another one of those initiatives. Goals 2000 is to help the teachers to learn how to be workforce aware and to teach the students better how to be. So there's all different kinds of initiatives that are all coming together, and eventually I think we're headed in the right direction. These students really know better now how to be workforce ready.
So there you have it, a lot going on to help prepare our students for the workplace of tomorrow, and to help our employers, and to help build jobs and the quality of life here in the North Country, to make sure people can stay here and can have a quality of life and have decent jobs. And anyone out there that wants to know more about any of the programs that I mentioned, Junior Achievement in particular, but also the others, call us here at the Chamber, ask for Sue Matten, 563-1000, and as always, thank you for watching North Country Commerce, and be sure and tune in future weeks for other topics.